afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome you all to this live session. Good afternoon, everyone. So, hope you had your lunch. So, myself Ushin Jason, and I'm an Ielts trainer in AJINORAH. Before going into this session, I would like to share a good news with you. That's Ielts students get to study here there is an Vishu and Easter offer for you guys, and you can study unlimitedly just for 10,000 rupees until you get good scores. So I welcome you once again to this live session where how to tackle the trickiest questions in Ielts reading. So, as we all know, we have 3 passages and 40 questions, and we have to complete this in 60 seconds. And we'll come across several types of questions like list of headings, true, false, not given, yes, no, not given, multiple choice questions, then sentence and summary completion, diagram level completion, short answers, and match information. But today we'll be discussing on 3 main topics which most students find difficult and confusing. So those topics are list of headings, then true, false, not given, or yes, no, not given, and multiple choice questions. So we'll begin our presentation. So the first topic that we are going to discuss here is list of headings. Well, you know that yes, so these are the 3 headings that we're going to discuss. So list of headings or match headings, then true, false, not given, yes, no, not given, then multiple choice questions. So we'll begin with list of headings or matching headings. We all know that this type of question is kind of tricky because it takes a little more time than the other questions, and there are often more headings than paragraphs. Then some paragraphs don't need headings, which is confusing, right? Then there will be some similarity between the headings, so you find it difficult to decide which paragraph matches which heading. Then sometimes headings that include only specific details rather than the main idea mislead you to decide which one is correct. And then some headings have the same word that are in the paragraph but don't match the question, or don't match the paragraph and in the questions. So we'll move on. So basically, to tackle this type of question, we can use 2 strategies, and both are effective. We can use it effectively, but you have to manage the time accordingly. So the strategy 1 is read the list of headings to understand the main idea. It's basically we have to read the questions first and then go to the passage, then we'll find. So the first one is read the list of headings to understand the main idea, then underline the keywords within the headings. Keywords are important, that we have to underline each, we have to look into each question and have to underline what is the keyword in that question. After that, if any similarities or differences you can, if you not any similarity or difference between the headings, you should notice that. Then most probably when you are given with this type of questions, the answer will be given in the first or in the last paragraph of the last sentence of the paragraph. Then after doing these, after matching all these, you have to choose the most suitable heading for the paragraph. So that's it, strategy 1. We'll be discussing the strategy 1 and 2 in our exercise. So the strategy 2 is, we have to read the whole passage, summarize each paragraph, and then go into the questions. Then we'll match the which one is right and wrong. Right. So first one, read the paragraph, then create your own heading. After that, read each individual heading, then choose most suitable heading for the paragraph. Yes, so these are the 2 strategies that you could follow in this type of question. So we'll go into the exercise. So these are the list of headings that we have to solve in this exercise. So the first strategy is, we have to read all the headings and then go into the question, the passage. So we'll do this one. These are the list of headings, and the first one is, difference in social status discourages helpful behavior. So what can be the keywords in this heading? Yes, that is difference in social status and then helpful behavior. Okay, I think all these are important. So these are the keywords for the first heading. Then second one is gruesome act. Okay, then comes an impact of presence of others. So the keywords here will be impact, then presence of others. Okay, then it is becoming emotionless is a convenience. So becoming emotionless, convenience. So these are the keywords in this heading. Then is an inhuman response, and inhuman response is the keywords here. Okay, now in the next heading, beautiful and affluent are valued more. So we have to underline beautiful and affluent, valued more. Okay, you could either draw a line or you could circle. Shouldering off, then comes shouldering of accountability. So shouldering off, accountability. So these are the keywords in this heading. Then comes one inaction leads to another. So one inaction leads to another. Then come hesitating to help, help. So these are the keywords that we are going to solve, or we are going to locate in the passage. So we'll go into the passage. So this is the first paragraph. So we'll read first paragraph. And a noticeable shameful attitude of society in recent times is the bystander effect. So noticeable shameful attitude of the society, where the general public blatantly ignores a person who may be victim of a road accident. So general public blatantly ignores a person victim of road accident or in some kind of need. Yes. Then bystanders do not only remain indifferent to the condition of the victim, but in a grotesque example of apathy, they also go to the extent of capturing the event in a video. So extent of capturing the event, okay, then in a video to share on, click a selfie. So these are the keywords here. So what kind of, how can we match these keywords with the headings? We have seen that ignores a person who may be a victim of a road accident, right? Then what? Yes, and they capture the event in a video to share in a social media or click a selfie with the victim in the background. We'll look in the questions, the headings. So, is this the first heading, difference in social status discourages helpful behavior? No. Is it gruesome act? I don't think so. Then is it an impact of presence of headings of others? No. Then becoming emotionless is a convenience? No. An inhuman response? Well, we'll see. An inhuman response ignores a person who may be a victim of an accident, then capturing the event in a video to share on social media. Yes, I think yes. So the answer is this. So fifth one, an inhuman response, right? Okay, so we had find the first answer to the heading. Now we'll move on to the second paragraph. Okay, why are people so emotionless? Why are people so emotionless? Unemotional. Then simply put, this happens when a person feels discouraged to get involved in an emergency, especially in the presence of others. Discouraged to get involved in an emergency in the presence of others. Then it is called the bystander effect. The concept of the bystander effect was popularized by social psychologists John Darley and Bibb Latane after the murder of Kitty Genovese in New York City in 1964. Okay, all those bystanders outside Genovese's apartment watched while she was stabbed to death, neither trying to stop the crime nor calling the police for assistance. According to Darley and Latane, there is a perceived fusion of accountability and social influence that leads to the bystander effect. So it is what is bystander effect? It is already said in the first line of this paragraph. This happens when a person feels discouraged to get involved in an emergency, especially in the presence of others. So they have said an example here. They have stated an example where a person was stabbed to death, and no one stopped the crime or called the police for assistance. So that's social influence that leads to the bystander effect. So it's like onlookers, they believe, are more likely to help if there are fewer witness presence. So we'll check which is the heading suitable for that paragraph. Difference in social status discourages helpful behavior. A gruesome act? No. An impact of presence of others? Is this the answer? Well, an impact of presence of others. It is said that when a person feels discouraged to get involved in an emergency, especially in the presence of others. So what's that? Okay, an impact of presence of others, right? It's said in the first sentence of the paragraph. So we have found the answer, and the answer is an impact of presence of others. Third one is the answer. Okay, so we have found the answer of two questions. Now we'll move on to the third one. Another example of increasing apathy is the video of unkempt man in a dirty coat walking with the aid of crutches and struggling, ignored by onlookers as he tried to get up. Okay, so these now, okay, we'll strike off the headings that we have already found. We have found this one, and we have found the third one. Yes, now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 7 more headings. We have 7 paragraphs, and we have already completed two headings. Now, yeah, and the third one is an example of an increasing. Yes, we have read that. An unkempt man in a dirty coat walking with the aid of clutches, ignored by onlooker as he tried to get up. He was eventually brought back to his feet by a homeless man. Helping the downtrodden is perceived as damaging to her. Helping the downtrodden is perceived as damaging to a social stand in society. So, and conclusions drawn by a research published by the International Ombudsman Association and individuals' hesitation becoming to the aid of the less fortunate is a fear of social consequences and stigma of being associated with the person in distress. So, here they are talking in the paragraph, it's talking about the social status, right? Because they are talking about that helping the downtrodden is perceived as a damage to a social standing in the society. Okay, then it also says about and individual hesitation becoming to the aid of the less fortunate is a fear of social consequences or the stigma. So we'll go back to the questions. And okay, difference in social status discourages helpful behavior. Is this the answer? Well, we'll check. Yes, helping the downtrodden is perceived as damaging to our social status, social standing in the society, right? Differences in social status discourages helpful behavior, because they have said that, and an example here, they've cited an example here that an uncut man in a dirty coat walking in the clutches and no one was there because he was, yes, as he was a, okay. Now this is the first heading. Now we'll move on to the fourth one. We'll strike off the heading that we all got. Now we have a gruesome act, a becoming emotionless is a convenience, beautiful and affluent are valued more, and then shouldering of accountability, one inaction leads to another, and hesitating to help. Okay. Now we'll move on to the fourth paragraph. The larger question about the different culture of indifference has a lot to do with the bystander behavior, says Wesley Perkins, a sociology professor at Hobart and William Smith Colleges in Geneva, New York. The bystander phenomenon is generated by the perception that other people are not doing anything about it. Therefore, yes. Okay. Well, we'll see this. Other people are not doing anything about it. So, therefore, I shouldn't either. Okay. However, when these events come to the knowledge of the public, people think everybody is mean and cruel-hearted and doesn't care. Perkins says, but much of the bystander phenomena happens because people are looking on and thinking if they don't see someone else coming to the person's aid, then the person must not be in trouble. Also, people are more likely to do the right thing when they notice the same behavior being elicited by other individuals. So, and it is only the real hero who steps out of a group to help. So we'll see. Okay, so cultural difference, keywords that we can use. Then, yes, other people are not doing anything about it, therefore I shouldn't either. Then, however, when these events come to the knowledge of the public, people think everybody is mean. Yes. So I think other people are not doing anything about it, and I shouldn't either. Is it a gruesome act? No. Becoming emotionless is a convenience? No. Beautiful and affluent are valued more? No. Shouldering of accountability? One inaction leads to another? Is this okay? So, if it is said that if nobody is doing anything, then why should I do? And it's also said here that people are more likely to do the right thing when they notice same behavior elicited by the others. So, one inaction leads to another. That's the answer for the fourth paragraph. Now, the sixth one, transferring responsibility is the most common response. So, I forgot to strike off that one. Okay, now we have hesitating to help, shouldering of accountability, beautiful and affluent are more valued more than becoming emotionless as a convenience, and a gruesome act. So, in here, transferring responsibility, yes, the keyword is in the first, and then Paul Roget, law lecturer on ethics and the author of Soul of a Citizen, speaks about his conversation with factory workers who proceed plutonium for nuclear weapons, Lobas, do you think it is a good idea? Promptly denying their responsibilities, the factory workers disassociated themselves from the potential horrific consequences of their action. The prevalent attitude is that someone else will do what is needed. We hope people do the right thing. We hope someone takes care of the poor. See, it's in the first and last sentence of the paragraph. Transferring responsibility, shouldering of accountability. See, transferring is shouldering of accountability and responsibility is accountability. So the answer is yes, 7th is the answer. Okay, now the last paragraph. According to legendary Greek philosopher Aristotle, man is an inherent social animal. It would not be possible for us to survive without one another, not only because of the lack of sustenance, but because we would probably go insane living alone. But looking at the society we live in today, it appears that people have become apathetic not only towards this community and environment, but towards fellow human beings. And by the bystander effect is evident even on the internet, where users watch other people get bullied or threatened unless the feeling of irrelevance that breathe this apathy are addressed. And people are going to find comfort in being apathy as a tool of self-preservation. Okay, we'll check the headings. A gruesome act. Is it talking about gruesome act? No, it's talking about what how humans are, like how humans have evolved, like they find comfort in being apathetic, right? So yes, so becoming emotionless is a convenience. Is this the answer? Yes, they say that they are comfortable in being apathetic. They are comfortable to not sympathize. So the answer is no, which one? Yeah, 4th one. Okay, this is the first strategy that you could follow. Okay, now we'll look into the second strategy. Okay, here. Okay, in here, what we do is that we write a short sentence or words which are similar, which is relating to the paragraph. We have to create your own heading. So noticeable shameful attribute of society in recent times. We have already read this paragraph, and in this paragraph this says about they ignores a person who is a victim of a road accident, and the paragraph talks about the inhuman act, like the people are not sympathetic towards any person. So we could say that ignoring person in need or person in need. Okay, then they are apathetic. Okay, oh, sorry. Okay, so they are apathetic, right? So these are the keywords that I found, which are there in this paragraph. Then we'll move on to the second para. And what are the things that we could find here? Well, we can find that the paragraph says about the people are discouraged by discouraged to help others because no one is helping the person. So if a person is not helping a person in need, that means nobody will help them, and so that's what talks about in this paragraph. So unwillingness to help others, right, in presence of people or others, right? Okay, now the third paragraph, we have already read through the paragraph. So it's talk about the the people do not help people in need who are less fortunate. So like they prioritize their social status. So okay, then it's okay. So that's basically, they talk about social status, then they talk about stigma, right? Okay, now then comes this one. In here, what are they talking about? They're talking about that if one person is not doing anything, the other person won't do. So we can, yes, so influence, people influence other people, right? Then in the 6th paragraph, they talk about transferring responsibility. So transfer, we could write this itself, it's fine. It is okay. So that's in this paragraph. Then comes the last one. They talk about that people find comfort in being unsympathetic, and yeah, so they talk about like they have no concern for the others. So no concern, then apathetic. So this is one way to tackle this question. So we have already we have given headings, around headings for each paragraph. So that's how you find, like we have ignoring people in need, apathetic, and we have already solved this one. So yes, an inhuman act, ignoring people in need and they are apathetic, so inhuman act. Then unwillingness to help others, presence of others. So it's the third one, that is an impact of presence of others. Then comes the third one, it's prioritizing social status and stigma. So you can find the answer in, yes, difference in social status discourages helpful behavior. Okay, now the fourth one, we have summarized into people influences other people, right? So that's, yes, one inaction leads to another. Then in the 6th paragraph, we have said that transferring responsibilities. So it's shouldering of responsibilities, like we have discussed in the first strategy 1. Yes. Then the last paragraph, we have said that no concern for the people in need, because they feel comfort. Okay, comfortability. We could write here comfortability too. Okay. Right. Okay. So that's the last one, and answer is becoming emotionless is a convenience. Convenience means comfortability. Okay. So that's how you tackle this type of questions. So if you have any clarity or doubt, you could ask. Well, now we'll move on to the second type of question, that is true, false, not given, or yes, no, not given. Well, there's a difference between true, false, not given and yes, no, not given. In yes, no, not given, it's basically the writer's opinion, the statement, and in true, false, not given, it's a factual information. And please be aware that when you get the questions, read the heading, whether it is true, false, not given, or yes, no, not given, because people get confused, and there are students who write true or false in the place of yes, no, not given, and vice versa. So here's a quick review of what the answers mean. If the statement is yes, that means the statement agrees with the writer, and if the statement is no, that means the statement contradicts or it's opposite to the writer's opinion. Then if it's not given, that means the information, you won't be able to find the information in the passage. Okay, and in the case of true false not given, if the statement is true, that means the statement that is given as question is, it agrees to the information in the passage, and if it's false, it contradicts the information, it's opposite to the information given in the passage. And if the information is not found, it's a not given. So there are some things that you have to keep in mind while you do this. So the first one, identify the keywords in the question. When you get the questions, when you go through the questions, identify the keywords. Then after identifying the keywords, locate the keywords in the passage. Okay, please don't expect the keywords, the same keywords that you find in the question or the statement to be in the passage, because they could give synonyms of the keyword or the antonyms, or there will be no match of these keywords. So be careful with that. Then okay, actually these type of questions requires you to locate a specific information, right, or identify the specific information. So then after identifying the keywords, then go into the passage, look or locate the keywords in the passage. Okay, and after that, evaluate if the keywords are same. Like I mentioned before, see if they have mentioned the synonym of a keyword, if they have mentioned the opposite or antonyms of the keyword. Okay, so then do not get confused between false not given, no not given. There are many students who have they have a concern about this type of question, because they always get confused between false not given and not given. Okay, always keep in mind that information that is in the text follows the order of the question, so it's easy to find the answers. So we'll move on to the exercise of this type of questions. Okay, so this is the passage and these are our questions. So we'll look into the questions first. Okay, Marie Curie's husband is one keyword. Joint winner of both Marie Curie's Nobel Prizes. These are the keywords that we are going to look in the passage. Then comes Marie became interested in science when she was a child. Okay, now the third one, Mary was able to attend the Sorbonne because of her sister's financial contribution. Able to attend. Okay, so these are the keywords that we have to find in the passage. Okay, expect that they will not be giving this exact word. They can give synonyms of or antonyms of the words. So we'll look into the passage. The life and work of Marie Curie is probably the most famous woman scientist who has ever lived. Born Marie Skłodowska, it's difficult to pronounce, sorry, and in Poland in 1867. She is famous for her work on radioactive and was twice a winner of the Nobel Prize. Okay, so is it given in the question? Yeah, Marie Curie has won 2 awards, that's why it's both. So twice a winner. Now with her husband, so they are talking about Marie Curie's husband, right? So with her husband, she was awarded the 1903 Nobel Prize for Physics. So yes, for physics, was then sole winner of the 1911 Nobel Prize for Chemistry. Okay, so sole winner. What is the synonym of sole or meaning? It's only winner. So it is said that she had won twice, and with her husband she had awarded a prize for physics, but then she is the only winner for the Nobel Prize for chemistry. Marie Curie's husband was a joint winner. No, right? Because she got both the awards, not with her husband. One award was solely, she was the only winner of one award. So the statement is false. This is a true false not given question, so it's a false. Okay, then comes the second question. Mary becomes interested in science when she was a child. Okay, she was the first woman to win a Nobel Prize. Okay, from childhood, from there, okay, from childhood, Mary was remarkable for her prodigious memory, and at the age of 16 won a gold medal on competition of her secondary education. Okay, so we'll look into questions. Yeah, is the passage talking about any interest in science? No, right? Because she should be like, the focus should be interest in science when she was a child, right? But they are not talking about anything, right? Anything which is related to that they are talking about her memory and the prize that she has won in her secondary education. So it's not given, right? All these, it's not that she's interested in science, that's not given in the passage. Yes, right? So it's not given. Okay, so in here it's the opposite, right? It's said that she's a soul, so there's a contradict. The statement contradicts the passage. In here the information is not found, so that's why it's not given. So see the difference. There always will be an opposite meaning if the statement is true. If the statement is false, then if it's not given, there won't be any information on that statement. So that's the difference between false and not given. Okay, now we'll move on to the third question. Mary was able to attend the Sorbonne because of her sister's financial contribution. Able to attend Sorbonne because of her sister's financial. Okay. Because her father lost his savings through bad investment, she then had to take work as a teacher. From her earnings, she was able to finance her sister. From her earnings, earnings, right? Earnings. She was able to finance her sister, right? Her medical studies in Paris, on the understanding that her sister or Bronia would in turn later help her to get an education. In 1851, this promise was fulfilled. Which promise? The promise that understanding that Bronia would in turn help her to get an education. So the promise was to help Mary to get educated. So, right, the statement is true. Everything that is in the question is given in the statement. They are talking about Mary was able to attempt, right? Mary was able to attend. She attended. Okay. Went to Paris and began to study at Sorbonne. So she attended the Sorbonne because of her sister's financial contribution. Yes, her sister helped her to get an education. So the statement is true. So that's how you tackle this type of question, that true, false, not given, or true, false, not given. And this is similar, like yes and yes, no, not given is similar to this one. Just the difference is that the statement will be the writer's opinion. Okay, so that's about this questions. Now we'll move on to the second. Before moving on to the third third type of question I would like to share that these keywords that you refer or that you identify in the questions, they can be important to the meaning of the text. So it may sometimes in the statement they would mention about names or places or years, and so that will help you to understand the both question and the passage. So look, always be prepared to get the answers. So next, the last type of question is multiple choice questions. In this type of questions, people find difficult to tackle this type of questions, and there are three main types that you would find in the questions, and those are: choose the best answer for 4 options. You will be given with a question, you will be given with four options, and you have to select one answer for that. Then you may have to choose 2 answers from 5 choices. Then you have to answer 3 answers from 7 choices. So expect all these questions can be asked. Now, so to solve this type of question, you have to quickly read all the questions and highlight the keywords before going into the passage. Okay, so whenever you get the question, underline the keywords that you find that is important to answer the question and answer the question. Now then move on to multiple choice questions. Usually come in the same order, like so these type of questions they may also come in the same order as in the passage or in the question. Now carefully read the questions and look through the options. Okay, after reading the question, look through all these options, underline the keywords, then we'll locate all these keywords. We have to try and locate all these keywords in the passage. Read the paragraph looking for the sentence that contains the answers. Now read each option one by one, deciding if it is correct or not. Okay, now we'll move on to the passage and this questions. So we are going to solve 3 questions, and this is the passage. In this first question, the question is: the book Educating Psyche is mainly concerned with. So book Educating Psyche, mainly concerned. So we have to find that. So these are the options. So we'll look at the options. The power of suggestion in learning. Power of suggestion, that's the first keyword. Then we have to identify and locate whether this is in the passage. Okay, then comes a particular technique for learning based on emotion. A particular technique we have to find. Okay, learning based on emotions. Now the effect of emotion on the imagination and the unconsciousness. Okay, now ways of learning which are not traditional. We'll locate these in the passage. So this is the passage. Okay, Educating Psyche by Bernie Neville is a book which looks at radical new approaches to learning, describing the effects of emotion, imagination, and the unconscious on learning. So what this book talks about, it looks into new approaches, right? New approaches to learning and describing the effects of emotion, imagination, and the unconscious on learning. Okay, and on theory discussed in the book, it is that proposed by George Lozano, which focuses on the power of suggestion. So they are talking about this book, right? Educating Psych. So educating this book. Okay, so they are asking about what is the main concern of this book. So are they talking about the power of suggestion in the learning? No, the power of suggestion is talked about Lozano. Okay, now are they talking about a particular technique for learning based on emotion? Are they talking about Well, no, they are not talking about any particular topic or particular technique. Now, the effect of emotion on the imagination and the consciousness. Are they talking about the effect of emotion on the imagination and the unconscious? Describing the effect of emotion. No, they are talking about these three, like emotion, imagination, and the unconscious, right? So, no, that's also, this is wrong, and this is also not suitable for the, sorry, not this one, sorry. So this is wrong, this is wrong, and this is the last. We'll check whether this is suitable for the question. Ways of learning which are not traditional. New approaches, right? New approaches means not traditional. So this is the answer. This is the answer. So ways of learning which are not traditional is the answer for this question. This book is mainly concerned about the ways of learning which are not traditional. So that's how you find the multiple choice questions. So we'll move on to the second one. In here it says that Lozanov's theory claims that when we try to remember things, unimportant details are easiest to recall. Then concentrating hard produces best results. Then most significant facts are most easily recalled. Okay, significance means important facts. Then peripheral vision is not important. Peripheral vision not important. So unimportant details are easy to recall. Then concentrating hard produces the best results. Most significant facts are most easily recalled. Then peripheral vision is not important. So we'll check. Lozanov's instructional technique is based on the evidence that the connection made in the brain through unconscious processing, which he calls non-specific mental reactivity, are more durable than those made through conscious processing. So connections made in the brain through unconscious processing more durable than those we made through conscious processing. Okay. Besides the laboratory evidence for this, we know from our experience that we often remember what we have perceived peripherally, okay, long after we have forgotten what we set out to learn. So we often remember what we have perceived peripherally. We'll check whether these are there in this. Okay. Well, unimportant details are the easiest to recall. Are they talking about that unimportant things? It is said that connection made in the brain through unconscious processing are more durable than those made through conscious processing. Besides the laboratory evidence for this, we know from our experience that we often remember what we have perceived peripherally. Listen, the meaning of this word is unimportant or okay. So they have given another synonym of the word in the passage. So unimportant is peripherally. Now, are the easiest to recall? Remember, that is recall. So I think we have find the answer to this question, that is A. Unimportant details are the easiest to recall. So he claims that in this passage, he claims that there is an evidence, and besides the laboratory evidence, yes. So that's the answer for the question, and we'll just check whether other options to concentrating hard produces the best results. Is he saying about anything related to hard, like concentrating hard or concentration, best results? No, right? No. Now, then is he talking about most significant facts are more easily recalled? No, because it's already said in the paragraph that we often recall what is unimportant. So that's not the answer. Then the fourth one is peripheral vision is not important. They are not talking about any vision, right? So the answer is this, A. Now we'll move on to the third one, and it is, in this passage the author uses an example. He uses the example of a book and a lecture to illustrate what is trying to illustrate. That both of these are important, both important for developing concentration. His theory about method, his theory about methods of learning is valid. Then reading is a better technique for learning than technique for learning than listening. We can remember things more easily under hypnosis. More easily under hypnosis. Okay. So we'll check whether this book is that this example illustrates any of these options. So if we think of a book, we studied months or years ago, we will find it easier to recall, right? We will find it easier to recall peripheral details. That means unimportant details. So we try to remember unimportant details like the color, the binding, the typeface, the table at the library where we sat while studying it, than the content on which we were concentrating, right? So we won't be able to remember or recall the content that we have read in that book, but we'll remember the color, the binding, and the other things, right? We'll be remembering all these things, but not the content. So yes, then he also talks about a lecture. In a lecture we listen to with great concentration, we will recall the lecture's appearance and mannerism, our place in the auditorium, the failure of the air conditioning much more easily than the idea we went to learn. Like we have a tendency to capture all the other unimportant details than the idea that we learned in a lecture, right? So that's what he talks about in these examples. So we'll look into the question. So both of these are important for developing concentration. Is he talking about any concentration? No, right? Then we'll check the C and D. Reading is a better technique for learning than listening. Is he talking about any kind of technique? Oh, sorry. Okay, is he talking about any kind of technique? No, he's talking about what? The unimportant details, right? Now, is he saying about any kind of hypnosis? Right. They are talking like even if these peripheral details are a bit elusive, they come back readily in hypnosis or when we relive the event imaginatively, as in psychodrama, right? So, but we can remember things more easily under hypnosis. Is he telling that it's more easy? No. So is he talking about that what he have explained in the beginning, that it's easier for people to recall the unimportant things? He's just giving an example for that. So in this passage the author uses the examples of a book and a lecture to illustrate that his theory about methods of learning is valid. So these are not the answers, but this. So this is the answer to this question. So that's how you tackle this type of questions. Okay, so now we are coming to the end of our session. So when you do, okay, before you take the exam dates or before attending the exams, be prepared with every questions. Like you would get any kind of questions in a passage, or all these type of questions can be in the passage that you are going to attend in the Ielts reading module. And always like practice as much as you can, and because practice can help you score good marks. So do that, and I hope that you understand all the methods that I've said in this session, and you could always practice. That will help you to understand these questions, these strategies more. And when you when you do this, when you do in the list of headings or matching headings, always make sure that you manage your time. If you are going for the strategy one, where you read the questions first and then going into the passage, manage your time. And the strategy 2 also, I think that when you are doing the passage first, like when you are giving headings to the paragraph, it may take time, like it may take 10 minutes to do all the paragraphs, but it is also applicable, like it's really easy to answer other questions in that section too. So but time management is very important. If you are you can select any one of these strategy, but practice as much as you can. So that's the end of the session. So before winding up, I would like to remind you once again that it's a good offer that the AJINORAH has introduced, Vishu and Easter offer, where you get to study unlimited for 10,000 till you score good marks in Ielts. So I think it's a great opportunity, but the offer ends very soon. So go and get the offer and study and practice, and I hope all of you get good scores in Ielts, and I all the best for your bright future. Thank you.